In today's society, over 9 billion condoms are sold every single year, and condoms now come in a variety of different shapes, colours, sizes. They come with rib, they come with spots on them, they come in colours, they come in flavours, they come in all sorts of different variations of the condom. But some of the earliest accounts of condoms being used can go as far back as 1000 BCE. There is the odd account of people using olive oil as a kind of lubricant and using leather possibly to make condoms out of. There's also been written accounts on cave walls of people using something that looks possibly like a condom, but the actual earliest version of a condom to be found goes back to more the 16th century, where people were using the intestines of animals such as fish, sheep and cattle to make a condom out of. This was then sent off to soldiers who would often be sleeping around with prostitutes. The oldest condoms to be found as of so far date back to 1640s. One was found in Sweden and one was found at Dudley Castle. Both were made out of animal intestine, whether they're using sheep, cattle or pig. They would make a casing out of it for men to use, and in a lot of cases men would actually share these condoms with one another. They didn't understand that it was hopefully protecting them against something a lot more than just making their partner pregnant, though at this point they knew that that was definitely a factor. They had no understanding of sexual diseases, so in these sort of cases men would use these condoms on their partner, most likely a prostitute, rinse them out and pass them on to their friends. Sharing's caring after all. In the 18th century, condoms were made out of silk and had a little ribbon attached to them, and they were purposely made to help fight against syphilis at this point. Again, whether it helped, I can't comment, but the idea of a condom being used for more than just to stop your partner from having babies was starting to play on people's minds, as during times of war, like in the 17th century with the English Civil War and other wars prior to that, a lot of soldiers would often suffer from syphilis and die from that, from having interactions with prostitutes. Even though condoms were turning into silk with ribbons, this was more for the elites to be able to use, whereas animal skin condoms like this one behind me were still used by everyday people. This particular condom is actually really interesting. It is from the 18th century, and as you can see, it is a woman struggling against a man, which is a very fascinating thing. Is it she is struggling because she's in pleasure, or is she struggling because she genuinely did not want to have sex? Who knows? But unfortunately we do not know the story of the person on this condom, but this one was made out of animal skins, and it's pretty interesting in the fact that it's got a depiction on it in the first place. Kind of similar to modern condoms as well, where we have depictions of animal heads and whatever else on them, which I find quite interesting. By the 1860s, the first rubber condom was invented. Then by the 1920s, the first latex condom was invented. And then in the 1960s, condoms fell out of popularity due to the fact that the pill was invented, so a lot of people tended to not use it. And this is very interesting because even though the pill was this revolutionary idea and it was something that women would get, at this point as well, only women that were married were able to have access to the pill. By the 1980s, there was a campaign against AIDS, and the popularity in using condoms skyrocketed yet again. And today, as I already stated at the beginning of this video, condoms can be found in all different shapes and sizes, colours, flavours, you name it. I'm sure there's a condom version of it, and many people today can have access to condoms. You can get them free from your doctor, or you can go into a shop and buy Durex or other brands that you can probably find actually on the shelf. And even today we also have the female version of the condom. So that's just a little bit of the history of a condom.